Life.
I'm gonna start asking different questions on the first date. Like, what medications are you taking? Are your blood pressure and cholesterol regulated? Okay, cool. Taking multivitamins. All right. What foods have you had to stop eating as you gotten older? Okay, so dairy's gone because it make your stomach sound like an earthquake. All right, that's cool, boo boo. No pun intended. Do you keep a pair of flats in your car at all times? Okay, because your heels, yeah, you can't be in the heels too long. All right, understood. Have you traded in those short dresses for your black leather pants for concerts and stuff? Cool, you got your black leather pants. Okay, so you graduated to auntie status for real. All right. What's your cutoff for night events? 9 o'clock. Anything after that? It's too late. You're not getting out the house. Understood. You already in your pajamas. Gotcha. Oh, you've been looking at moo-moos? Okay, I hear those are comfortable and free-flowing. Nice to wear around the house, or quickly going outside. You sleep with the AC and the fan on at the same time? With 2 blankets? Understood, because you can't get too hot while you sleeping, right?
Now, listen, well, I thought this video was hilarious, but listen, if you're dating women over 30 hell, there's some questions you need to ask the men over 30 too. But I mean, I think a lot of the things that he mentioned definitely applies to women over 30. Now, women gonna have their questions too for men over 30 and 40 and older. But I mean, listen, do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Ask the questions that you need to ask. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see a problem with asking questions when you're dating. A lot of people are very confused or maybe apprehensive about asking certain questions when they're dating. And I think it's better for you to ask the questions in the dating process than wait till you've established something with the person while not asking those questions. And then you end up dating them and, you end up pursuing them. And then all of the things that you didn't ask, things just slowly start coming out. Things start creeping out here and there. And then you're surprised by it. I think it makes sense that if you are interested in a person, if you're physically attracted, the physical attraction is there. You like their vibe, you like their personality, you like, things about them, you should ask the questions. In fact, I think the more you like the person, the more questions you should ask. And if the person likes you, it wouldn't be an issue for them answering the questions. They wouldn't get offended. They wouldn't have a problem because they see you the way you see them. They're just as attracted to you. They like your vibe. They like your energy, your personality. They like things about you. So it's like when you have that chemistry, you don't mind a person asking you questions because you want them to get to know you. You don't want to spring certain things out on them. You want them to get to know everything about you just as much as you want to learn everything about them as well. And I think there's nothing wrong with asking the questions. I think sometimes, though, people are apprehensive about doing that because they think it's going to turn the person off. They think that the other person is going to get triggered or become turned off by the answers. And even if that is the case, hey, it's better to know it early on than later. So if that's something that that's a deal breaker, that's something you just cannot deal with, then you can keep it moving. Y'all don't even have to go any further. And that way you can continue to find somebody who might be interested in you, and your quirks and your things. This is why I always say, listen, people are not perfect. You're not going to find a perfect person nowhere in this world. Everybody has some type of flaws or quirks or something. But if you find a person who has the majority of the things that you want, the main things that matter, the main things that will make for a healthy, stable relationship, that's who you should go with. If you have a productive man, he's good to you and he loves you and he's a provider and a protector and all of that. But I mean, I can't say what your deal breakers are. That's only for you to know, but he might have a few things that you don't like. But if he have the overall qualities for a healthy, successful relationship and you like him and he's good to you, then you could work on those other things. Those are just minute things. And I think sometimes people make such a big deal over the small things. And I'm like, I hear what women be requesting for men and what some men want from women. And, the things that you glorify are usually the things that cause your past relationships to fail. You wanted a woman who had a stacked body. You had a woman with the stacked body, but she messed all over you. She did you dirty and took all your money. But instead of learning from that, everybody want what they want and they got to have what they have. And a lot of that is messing you up. It's causing you to constantly run into the same type of people that did you dirty in the first place. So this is why I say you have to change what you are attracted to in some cases. Train yourself to be attracted to a woman, or if it's, vice versa, if it's a man who have the qualities that you eventually want in a person, because you can have the most beautiful person in the world and you're attracted to them physically, but they're missing all of the other qualities that would make for a healthy relationship. And so y'all end up breaking up because she's batshit crazy. She cute, but she batshit crazy. She don't listen to nothing you say. She don't really care about you. She don't want to hear. She's all, doing all the things that she shouldn't be doing. And you put up with her for but so long. And then at some point you gotta let her go, because she's not what you need. Everybody's looking for what they want, but not what they need. And when they get what they want, then they're complaining about what they don't have versus, when it comes to their needs. Oh my God. So why not train your mentality or your mind to be attracted to women or men who have the things that you would need, that you're going to want, because the physical part fizzles out. That gets old. If you're in a marriage with a person, you start off young, y'all are young and attractive and y'all slim and y'all getting it on like, just all over the place and doing this, eventually, I'm not saying it has to stop, but at some point y'all got to get older. So you're not the same when you're in your 20s versus your 50s. Things start to change. We talk about men who had hair when they were 20 and then they bald. They gain a little weight. You start having other issues. Things change in all of us. Some may be more drastic than others, but it happens to the best of us. And so, but you want somebody that you can grow old with, that still love you when these changes occur, as opposed to somebody saying, oh no, I gotta let you go. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't do it. You want somebody who you can start off with, y'all grow together, you get old together, and you still have that love there, and you do, and you're still there for each other. But a lot of times people are very superficial. Some people can't do it like that. You know what I mean? But you get older anyway when you forego relationships for small superficial things, but then you get older, and now you're older, and this is where now you have these people dating people over 30, 40s and 50s out here trying to date. Now you got to talk about these things, because you're not you 40 years old, you got arthritis in your knees, both of y'all. You can't jump and run as fast as you could when you were younger. You know what I mean? You slowed down some because you are an older person now. So now you gotta date from an older perspective. So you got to understand that, these things are occurring in people because we all have to age. So you do have to take that into consideration. You're not going to have no, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to have a supermodel at the age of 40 and 50 years old. And so I think people have to be realistic. Y'all know I say it all the time. I think you have to be realistic. You can't be delusional out here dating that you're going to just have a perfect person on one side or the other. You got to understand that, hey, if you find the majority of what you want out of a person, you should be willing to accept the little small things. It all boils down to what it is that you want, what's most important to you, and what you're willing to accept, and you have to be realistic in it. So I think back to the video though, I think you should ask questions. You should always ask questions. Look, and let a person know where you stand. Let them know what you're interested in, what you like, what's your deal breakers, what you don't like, and y'all see if y'all can meet somewhere in the middle. If not, okay, keep it moving. Ask the questions up front, in my opinion. Have the conversations when you go on these dates. That way you know what you're dealing with. You know if that's something that you can, work with or not. And if not, like I say, you don't waste each other's time, because the older you get, you ain't got all this time. Oh my God. You ain't got all this time to waste. So you want to waste as little time as possible trying to figure out if this could be a match for you. And if it's not, you can move on. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel. Turn on that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye. DeeDeesReactions. Tell a friend.